Imagine waking up to a world completely on edge. That is exactly what happened when the United States and Israel launched a massive strike against Iran. Hey everyone, it's DinaKalmeta here. And today we're going to talk about these events, also how world leaders are responding, and what does this mean for prophecy? President Trump is reportedly planning escalatory strikes on Iran after the United States and Israel launched a wave of attacks on the country early Saturday morning. As Americans were waking up Saturday, Iran had already responded, retaliating against Israel and attacking U.S. military installations in Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Kuwait. In the popular UAE tourist destination of Dubai, the Fairmont Hotel was seen on fire after a strike. Saudi Arabia, which doesn't have diplomatic relations with Israel but whose leadership is close to the Trump administration, also reported that Iran had targeted the capital, but the attacks were repelled. The initial assault, which Trump referred to as Operation Epic Fury, used one-way attack drones for the first time in combat. Also referred to as kamikaze drones, the weapons fly into targets and then detonate. Tomahawk missiles were used to take out Iran's air defenses before the drones were deployed. According to a U.S. official, we have effectively suppressed their air defenses. The U.S. military focused on high-value targets, assets important to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, and underground targets that likely were part of Iran's nuclear program. Iran's defense minister and Revolutionary Guard commander were taken out in the Israeli attacks. In an 8-minute speech, President Trump said he had ordered a major strike on Iran after nuclear negotiations between the two countries had broken down. He said, "Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people." He again reiterated that the Iranian regime must never obtain a nuclear weapon. In his message, he also pushed the Iranian people to take back control of the government. He said, "Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take." The White House press secretary said mid-morning on Saturday that ahead of the strikes, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had reached out to the members of the Gang of Eight, the members of Congress who are expected to be briefed on top classified matters. Now, it's being reported by the Jerusalem Post that Iran's supreme leader has been cut off from contact, so they don't have no certainty on his fate. However, the Daily Mail is reporting that there are growing indications that Iran's supreme leader was taken out in the first wave of the U.S. and Israeli strikes earlier this morning. Israeli media outlet Channel 12 said that unnamed Israeli sources had revealed that there were growing indications that the leader had been taken during the morning's airstrikes or that he was hurt at the very least. Officials had earlier reported that the strikes had caused very significant harm to the leadership of the Iranian regime and its military commanders. The leader had not been heard from since the U.S. and Israel launched their dual attack this morning. Israeli sources said today that President Trump specifically targeted Iran's supreme leader in its first wave of joint missile strikes with Israel, and the initial blasts are believed to have taken place close to the offices of the leader. Now, of course, with the events that are occurring right now, these headlines are going to change minute by minute, second by second. So this is the latest as of this morning, February 28th. Now, over in Israel, police say that they have received reports of missile fragments that have impacted several areas of central Israel following Iran's latest ballistic missile attacks. As of right now, there are no reports of injuries, but damage was caused. Now, it's also been reported that the UK Prime Minister said that British aircraft were in the sky today in the Middle East as part of a coordinated regional defensive operations to protect their people, their interests, and their allies. So will the UK get involved? Well, here's a statement from the UK, France, and Germany condemning Iran's retaliatory attacks on neighboring countries, but stopped short of offering full support for the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. China is demanding that the United States and Israel halt their military operation against Iran immediately. Following the strikes by the U.S. and Israel, Russia has condemned the action and is actively supplying military support to Iran, including air defense systems and other arms in deals valued around 500 million euros. While some proxy groups align with Iran,
like Hezbollah, they have urged readiness. No other nation besides Russia has openly offered military support to Iran at this time. Canada has offered full-throated support for Trump's attack on Iran. The Australian Prime Minister has also endorsed the action, saying that they stand with the brave people of Iran in their struggle against oppression. He confirmed Australia supports the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. The French president warned that the outbreak of war between the United States, Israel, and Iran carries grave consequences for international peace and security. He said the ongoing escalation is dangerous for all and it must stop. The European Union foreign policy described developments as perilous. Spain openly rejected the strikes. Pakistan's foreign minister said that the deputy prime minister and foreign minister strongly condemned the unwarranted attacks against Iran and called for urgent resumption of diplomacy. Turkey's foreign minister held calls with counterparts across the region. The discussions focused on possible steps to be taken to help bring an end to the attacks. And of course, a Norwegian foreign minister said that the strike is not in line with international law. Now, with that said, Fox News is reporting that Arab nations are sounding off on Iran after the regime launched strikes against U.S. interests in neighboring countries in the region, as I mentioned. The United Arab Emirates Ministry of Defense said that the country was subjected to a blatant attack involving Iranian ballistic missiles, adding that their air defenses successfully intercepted a number of the missiles. Authorities said that falling debris in a residential area caused one civilian to perish. The ministry called the attack a dangerous escalation and a cowardly act that threatens the safety of civilians and undermines stability, and stated that the UAE reserves its full right to respond. Jordan's foreign minister wrote a series of posts on X saying that the king condemns the attack on the territories of Jordan and any attacks on Arab countries, expressing Jordan's solidarity with the brotherly Arab countries in confronting any aggressions that affect their sovereignty, security, and stability. Lebanon's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it also strongly condemns the Iranian attacks, adding that it affirms its full solidarity with these fellow Arab states and firmly rejects any violation of their sovereignty, any threat to their security, or any action undermining their stability. Meanwhile, Oman's foreign ministry condemned the U.S.-Israeli operation against Iran. So Iran is definitely ruffling feathers in the Middle East. So right now, it's pretty mixed. Some are supporting President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and some outright do not. So the question is, how long will this last? Well, the Jerusalem Post is reporting that U.S. officials expect the event to last several days. The officials also said that the strike at a U.S. Navy base in Bahrain left no injuries, with the Iranian missile only hitting an empty building. So they're thinking right now for at least a week. But there are some world leaders who do fear broader escalation could happen. Iran's foreign minister has urged the United Nations Security Council to intervene on the strikes on the country, stating that the United States and the Israeli regime shall bear full and direct responsibility for all ensuing consequences, including any escalation arising from their unlawful actions. All bases, facilities, and assets of the hostile forces in the region shall be regarded as legitimate military objectives within the framework of Iran's lawful exercise of self-defense. In addition, global airlines have suspended flights across the Middle East. So definitely a very precarious situation right now. But what does this mean for prophecy? Well, we know from Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, Iran or Persia isn't going anywhere. They are in prophecy. In fact, they are one of the nations that will be part of the coalition with Russia and Turkey to one day try and invade Israel. And after last year and today, and I'm assuming this is going to go on for at least a week, could be longer. We just don't know. They're going to want to retaliate. But they are in Ezekiel. So the headlines are falling right into place as it pertains to Bible prophecy.
Today, the planets will align in a rare historic event. This week, there will be a blood moon as well as Purim. If those are not signs, I don't know what is. And Jesus told us in Luke 21:28 that when you begin to see these things come to pass, to look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And that redemption just got a huge push last night. But those are your headlines for today. I wanted to bring you guys just a quick report today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's happening in the Middle East and how world leaders are responding. Also, when you have a free moment, come and visit me on my social media pages as well as my website. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And until next time, God bless and stay safe.